We reached the last weekday of the first week of NFL free agency, and I'm hoping the Cowboys aren't asleep at the wheel. Mike Fisher reporting from Frisco, home of the Dallas Cowboys, where the grade that you give the Cowboys cannot be issued yet. Class isn't over yet. But I can give you two examples of things that have happened or didn't happen that I find troublesome, that I hope the answer that we eventually find out isn't that, oh, everybody was on vacation and we were asleep at the wheel. Again, we'll do the grading of the Cowboys. In fact, later today, we'll do a so far positives and a so far losses and a so far pluses without necessarily handing out a grade. We'll do some evaluations on some guys, but not an overall grade. But Mitch Trubisky for $2.5 million on a one-year deal to go to Buffalo and be a backup. Were the Cowboys asleep at the wheel here? Desmond King, good cornerback. Now, a lot of people think he's a slot cornerback, but a good cornerback, a playmaking cornerback. Not a great cornerback, not a speed guy. And so you can kind of go through Desmond and go, here's why I know. But the Texans go get him for $3.5 million on a one-year deal. We've told you, by the way, we started this about a month ago, talking about how smart guys were going to sign one-year deals. It wasn't just the teams that were going to do one-year deals because they were unsure of the guy. The guy is going to do a one-year deal because the cap's down and he'll get another bite of the apple next year. Got iced coffee. Yes, coffee. So in the case of the cornerback, go to Houston, rebuild a little bit, take your $3.5 million, show them what you got, and next year, bigger cap, go get a bigger deal. If the Cowboys want to argue that we don't need Desmond King because he's not a fast guy, and we just signed Jordan Lewis, who is pretty specifically a slot corner, okay. Also, and we'll talk about this over the course of the day, if the Cowboys have another plan to sign a starting safety and a starting cornerback. Now, we're talking about tier 3, but look at the list of safeties and corners that are still hanging out there. There's still 10 safeties who can come here and start, and 10 corners who can come here and start, even with Patrick Peterson and a host of other guys gone. Maybe more than 10 at both safety and corner. So there's still time for the Cowboys to add to the roster, gain 2 defensive starters, and get a satisfactory grade. Okay, fine. Desmond's not fast enough, and we don't really need a slot corner now that we signed Jordan Lewis. What about backup quarterback? Now, there were some people that thought Mitch Trubisky might end up being the Washington starter. And instead, they are obviously very pleased with what they did. 1 year, $10 million, Ryan Fitzpatrick. There's nobody in Chicago that wanted Mitchell Trubisky to be their starter anymore. It didn't work. Again, one man's trash is another man's treasure. But the Cowboys almost certainly will not sign a backup quarterback who's better than Mitch Trubisky. I hope I'm wrong. If they sign Alex Smith, as I hope they do, I will be wrong. But Mitch Trubisky, 1 year, $2.5 million. First of all, you're getting somebody who's still young, somebody who's still building. You are getting somebody who is judged as a failure in Chicago, but that's because he was a premium pick and it just never quite worked out to expectations. But it's not like he wasn't better than Colt McCoy. He was better than Colt McCoy. He was better than Cooper Rush. He was better than Garrett Gilbert. He was better than the collection of guys who are floating around out there as career backups or too old or third string. Mitch Trubisky is better than they are. He's a better prospect and he's a better producer than they are. And I don't have this yet. I'm going to work on it. I want to hear somebody inside the building tell me, well, we never did like Mitch Trubisky, because I don't think that's true. I bet you in his draft they had him as probably had him as the sixth guy on their board or something, top 10 or whatever, something like that. I bet you they did. And now, what used to be a board, now it's just in a computer, there's a list and a ranking, every team does it, of free agents. Every team in the NBA does it, every team in the NFL does it. Here's all the free agents. I wonder where Mitch Trubisky was ranked. You think he was ranked behind Colt McCoy? I can't imagine it. And do you think as a player he's ranked behind Garrett Gilbert? I can't imagine that. So is somebody asleep at the wheel here? Did the Cowboys make an informed, rational decision to not like Mitch Trubisky, which I wouldn't understand? I wouldn't understand their judgment, but I would bow to it. If I can find somebody that says, listen, he's a jerk, or he's a bad teammate, or Fish, you should come watch film with me on this. I'm going to show you something, and you're going to see why we hate Mitch Trubisky. If I can find that person inside this building, I will do so, and I will let you know. But until that happens, and you know how deferential I am to people that actually do this for a living. I'm not one of those media guys that pretends, oh, I could coach the Cowboys better. No, I couldn't. Oh, I could be the defense. No, I couldn't. Oh, I ought to be in quality control. No. I should be a scout. No, I should be exactly what I am. This is what I am, and it's good enough. It's the best I got. So I'm deferential to somebody who works in the NFL and has watched film and said Mitch Trubisky is a bad guy or whatever they come up with. But until I hear that, I'm willing to listen to another theory, which is Jerry's on vacation with the grandkids, maybe, which he annually does this time of year, which isn't a bad thing as long as Steven's chained to his desk, except I don't think Steven is chained to his desk. Oftentimes, he also goes on the spring break thing, and I don't think Steven is camping out at the Star this week. I don't think he is. Okay, then that's fine, I've said in the past, as long as Will McClay is in the building, plugged in, on the phones, except there's only so many. Will McClay and the people that under him and only has so many ears, only has so many mouths, only has so many phones. Was Jerry Jones on the phone with Mitch Trubisky's agent? I bet you he wasn't. It's possible that Jerry Jones has no particular awareness of Mitch Trubisky. I'm not trying to be insulting, I'm trying to be factual. Was Stephen Jones on the phone with Mitch Trubisky's agent? Was Will McClay? Because if one of them wasn't, barring Mitch Trubisky being some sort of a devil-worshipping baby eater, the Dallas Cowboys, in terms of hiring a backup quarterback in this first week of free agency, in this one instance, and maybe in the instance of the slot corner as well, maybe, but I feel strongly about the Trubisky thing. Somebody here inside the Star might have been asleep at the wheel. Fish, out.